reach my right hand out, I curl my fingers in, I bring them into my chest. I bring them into my chest, I roll down, I roll back up, I roll to the front. Double pirouette and do one.
IMPETUS is a 4-day festival that is a multi-venue music event coupled with a traditional gallery experience. So there's going to be multiple things happening in each gallery at all times.
And then we hear a dance, and then we say, and I come get fun.
Now I am drunk from having drunk the entire universe. So I leave and stumble along the boulevard. Hesitation is an enemy. I do not hate my enemies. I love my
We're going to have lectures as well as workshops, open rehearsals, question and answer sessions, pretty much the whole making process.
I'm doing a performance piece that's split into 3 sections. And these 3 sections are going to be kind of laid out next to each other, almost like 3 objects laid in a room. So I'm trying hard not to do the things that you would normally do in theater, which is to create lots of verbal or visual transitions to make each piece move smoothly from one to the next. I'm really trying to think of it like, you know, like a poem when you set 3 words together, or you know, in a sculpture, like an assemblage, when you set 3 objects together, and it's the proximity of the objects that tells a story, and it's what each object is by itself alone next to the others that tells a story. So it's a kind of a new thing for me, because normally I actually work really, really hard to make really great transitions from one thing to the next. I'm a set designer, and you know, I love creating environments, so I always have lots of crap on stage, you know, and my productions are always having to deal with lots of stuff. And I really wanted to try to be as spare as I could, you know, more than just having like a table and a chair in space, but I wanted to have just a very, very few items that I'm really hoping have a larger visual impact together. So the 3 different performances that I'm doing, one next to the other, there are some echoes in how things are colored or whatever. Each performance happens in a 10-foot square, and that has more to do with the space, the architecture of the space, and also the fact that there's a lot of performers in the space doing different things. They're almost like actions in a way. There's like one central action in each of the 3 little performance things. And in one of them, there's a metaphor of a Guantanamo prisoner trying to find his way through the forest. The second piece is about an interrogator coming to terms with his job, which would be waterboarding prisoners at Guantanamo, that sort of thing. And it's also really about an artist who is trying to find the good idea. And I think that's interesting to me, because there's a lot of, you know, conceptual performance now, which is really about the idea. And I think those artists work really hard to not emotionally engage the audience And it's really the ideas that are the art, not so much the physical manifestation of those ideas. The second one, there's an architect who is trying to make sense of some architectural drawings. The double metaphor of all this is also about an artist trying to find their way through the world. And in the third one, there is a waiter who is serving wine to a couple of invisible guests. And I'm actually wearing a gigantic head fashioned after a very famous Picasso sculpture of one of his lovers, Marie-Thérèse Walter. And Picasso's all about destroying things, so I come out and I serve 2 glasses of wine to these imaginary guests 30 times, and I smash the glassware every time I serve them. I hope it all resonates in the end.
The workshops that I'm guiding, I'm calling just image construction. So I'm introducing ways in which one might develop and understand an image that they have in mind. So through free writing and through free movement and through meditation and through other mind quieting exercises, we will delve into ways in which one might develop and understand an image that they have in mind. Exhale is the arms down by your sides and the pelvis coming back. Yoga is a way that I keep my body and mind in shape, and also when I'm in a creative process, it really helps to just do yoga and let go of the creative process. By the time I'm done with my practice of yoga, when I come back to the creative process, I feel fresher. So this will be to show one way that one might clear their mind. I'm showing an installation. It's a movement installation. We will find one image, try and stick with one image, and then delve into that. I'm just changing the space. I'm creating a landscape, and I will put my body in the space as another element to change the energy. I enjoy making slower movement and installation, more visual art stuff than I enjoy making choreography. So for myself, just as a way to enjoy what I'm doing, I'm trying to let go of feeling like I have to make choreography in order to create work.
The whole event is designed to be open for participation. We're kind of working with the idea that if you can go maybe one step outside of your comfort zone, that's kind of where we'd like to challenge people to be.
Basically, it's an opportunity for the general public to learn about what the student project is and to experience what potentially they might be doing during the project, to kind of demystify any anxiety or large-scale ideas about what it is that they be doing. The workshops are really to break down any inhibitions or self-consciousness about, performing. And so it's really for those person who maybe never has had any movement background, but has always loved dance, or maybe have always wanted to be involved, and they could come and participate and not perform and just learn about the work, or they can come learn the material in the workshop, and then they can choose what level to participate in.
participating in 2 events this year at IMPETUS. I have a piece called Duets, and I want to think about the duet as more of a conversation. So instead of physically doing the piece, moving physically, my dancers will be speaking what their physical movements would be, either facing each other or at points facing away, but reinterpreting and translating the original movement through words or dance terminology.
Over my shoulder, and then I stand up in parallel and hit my fist against my chest.
I step my right foot out to second position.
This will happen sporadically throughout the evening on Saturday at the gala. You might not even notice that there are 2 people speaking to each other, that it's a dance. Maybe it looks like a conversation, but it's physical movement.
Left arm around, right arm around, bring it back down to the front to the ground, raise it back up, arms up, shoulders up,
Towards the back, PK, flee, romper sandwich, left leg, turn towards the left corner, shut it up, shut it down,
roll to the ground, bottom on right leg,
and roll down,
left
roll
leg,
back up, stop my right left.
onto the cot, onto the cot.
Tonight I have 6 of my students here, and we're going to be doing a workshop about partner work. And the first 30 minutes is going to consist of us constructing 3 separate duets, and then performing that, working on those pieces. I'm going to give you guys 30 minutes. You're going to pair up in 2s, and you're going to come up with a piece of choreography. I want you to think about a concept and in terms of a conversation. So that's maybe your, I mean, it can be anything. It can be your best friends, you're in an argument, you're laughing, something.
So you do yours.
All the artists involved are going to be creating works or reimagining works or in some way redeveloping an idea, and they'll be presenting that at the end at the culminating gala.
We're really trying to build the piece, build the choreography around the setting. We've been working with the different pillars and support beams in there, and the whole feel of that first gallery with the floors and the beams have a lot of character. We're also working with costume. We wanted to have a costume in mind before we started setting choreography so that the movement could be influenced by that. So she has this long black dress that's very elegant, and it's kind of juxtaposed with the factory surroundings. So we're just exploring that space right now. I don't know, I suppose that it might be more interesting if you're reaching up. As if it's down here waist level, you're so close to it. But if it's up high, then I think we see it better. Trying to do is encapsulate the creative process. Like watching you pay attention and
we started with the workshop, which was based around practice, and what we were interested in kind of morphed into something else, because this piece kind of narrowed in on affecting the audience, and what we actually did was try to herd H-E-R-D, the audience through space, and this was not to make them think differently or to, you know, produce some kind of feeling or affect, but literally to like move the bodies through the space. And we had kind of a bank of different techniques that we were going to try out during the course of the evening, during the opening, when there were other performances going on at different places throughout the space, to try to move the audience members around. And it was very much an experiment. It turned out that it was kind of impossible for us to tell if the audience members were moving because of something we did or because of their own volition, and the crowd kind of was a little, didn't quite fill the space the way that we had been planning on, and didn't react quite the way we were planning on. It never really became visible to the audience, but I think it was very instructive for us, thinking about how we try to do that, how you run a performance experiment, how to evaluate its success or failure, and these are still open questions, but it did get us a little farther in thinking about that.
I will be improvising a dance to a video and sound score. It has a rhythm to it that I have really loved and wanted to work with for a while. So I'm going to be dancing sort of layered with that video. Improvisation is something that I fell in love with a long time ago. I felt it was natural for me. It was a home base, and I got a job in a dance company, which has been incredible, but I stepped away from the improvisation that I loved and felt so natural with. So it feels like it's time to come back home to what I love and what I feel is natural for me.
Je danse. Ich tanze. Je danse. Ich tanze. Je danse. Ich tanze.
And just added a new part, which is some text that is going to be read live, also while I improvise.
To be honest, I want to be honest. I want to be honest with you. And you too, dancer. Notice the way she sways. Notice the way she stands. You wooed me with your wildness, your irreverence, your late nights, your hustle. You wooed me with your beauty, your spirit.
Against the wall. Again, what kind of love is that? She asked. And smashed one more glass against the wall. I am balls. I am every sexual experience you have ever had. I am that feeling. Feel me. Feel me. Feel me.
What we're going to work on here at the Soap Factory is a new piece called The Empaths, and we're really interested in how people view art in different contexts in terms of moving our public through different kinds of spaces. So one of the things that's happening with this piece specifically is exploring a one-on-one performance situation that could take place in a gallery, it could take place in a theater, it could take place in a public space. And so we're going to start researching that piece here. We're going to be interviewing the public, and we're going to be doing very kind of informal, improvisatory performances for the public, one-on-one, both in the space, in the Soap Factory, and outside in public spaces, exploring the idea of empathy and how movement can create change or transformation in our lives.
Kinesthetic empathy is a part of just general empathy. It's probably one of the more profound elements of it, being more subconscious, and that your physical body It's communicating with other people's physicality as you interact and communicate. And those physical cues in communication cause you to feel what the other person is feeling in a physiological and kinesthetic and movement way within your body.
They wanted to do something that they could, you know, continue as an annual event that would kind of feed the needs of local artists, and we wanted to keep it extremely local, and we really wanted to give that a place where people could collectively come to it every year and look forward to that experience and sharing, and kind of like a workshop, kind of like an artist in residency.